The most intense fight I had with Jason over Bella was when he pushed me so hard that I got hit by a car and was flung 5 meters away, knocking me unconscious. When I woke up and saw Jason looking worried, I blurted out, "Who are you?" Jason replied, "I'm just a passerby who brought you to the hospital." I asked, "Then is this handsome guy my boyfriend?" I pointed at the quiet handsome man beside me, Jason's uncle Soren, and said. Jason winked at Soren, "Yes, he is." Soren took a drag of his cigarette, eyes lowered, and surprisingly didn't deny it. I sneered inwardly, this world has truly gone mad. To help his nephew chase girls, an uncle would actually take over his nephew's girlfriend. No need to thank me. Bringing you to the hospital was just what any good citizen would do. I have to go now. Your boyfriend can see me off, you don't mind, do you? Jason said with his usual carefree grin. The affection I once felt for him instantly died, and I simply lay down with my back turned to them. I need rest, do as you please. Jason shrugged indifferently, winking at Soren before stepping out first. The two walked one after another to the end of the hospital corridor before Jason stopped. Uncle, I promised Bella I'd take her to the grasslands she's always dreamed of visiting. Vivian has lost her memory now, so please take good care of her for me. I'll propose to her when I get back. Soren blew a smoke ring, his fox-like eyes narrowed as he gazed out the window, his slightly trembling fingers betraying his inner turmoil. What if she regains her memory tomorrow? Bella and I have a flight in an hour. Even if Vivian regains her memory right now, it won't stop us from going on this trip. Jason pursed his lips as he spoke. If Vivian hadn't insisted he cancel the flight for their trip, he wouldn't have been so angry that he pushed her away. He had already made it clear, he had no romantic feelings for Bella. She was just a financially disadvantaged student sponsored by the Davenport family. He simply pitied her for never having seen the grasslands and wanted to take her there. But Vivian didn't believe him and insisted that Bella had feelings for him. She even threatened to break up with him if he went on that trip with Bella. Pfft. The whole city knew exactly how crazy Vivian was about him. As the sole heiress of the wealthy Sinclair family, Vivian's affection was so overwhelming that Jason found it unbearable. Sometimes, Jason wished Vivian could be as gentle and considerate as Bella. Watch your step, Soren glanced at Jason, then strode away with one hand in his pocket. Jason said with a grin to his retreating figure, "Thank you, uncle." Lying on the hospital bed, I was overwhelmed with fear. If I hadn't landed in the Greenbelt, it wouldn't just be a mild concussion and minor abrasions, I could have been much worse off. "Are you asleep?" came Soren's voice from behind me. He stood at the head of my bed. I rolled over and glared at him irritably. He was already 32 and still didn't have a girlfriend, probably because he was just too much of a jerk to find one. Soren is the CEO of the Davenport Group. Originally, the Davenport Group was not very large, but after Soren took over, its assets grew rapidly. My dad once told me that Soren is cold and ruthless, a shrewd and capable businessman. What's the matter? It's time for lunch. I'm not hungry. Besides, as a patient, shouldn't you, as my boyfriend, buy me food and bring it over? Forget it, let's break up. I snapped at Soren angrily, but his expression remained as cold and indifferent as ever. I refused to get involved with Soren, my parents would worry I'm being deceived. No breakup, Soren narrowed his fox-like eyes and squeezed out those two words. I said it's over, and I don't need your permission. I rolled my eyes, the scratches on my arm stinging, daring not to move carelessly. Just this morning, you were clamoring to go get our marriage license with me, and now you want to break up. Did you take a fancy to that idiot just now? Soren's lips curled slightly as he smoothly sat down on the bed, moving very close to me. I quickly scooted away, utterly dumbfounded by Soren's audacity. He really had the nerve to say that, didn't even worry about biting his own tongue. I don't want to register our marriage with you now. Today's accident proves we're not meant to be, even heaven is stopping us. Who says otherwise? Soren thought to himself after listening to me, his handsome face breaking into a doting smile. Natural disasters and human calamities are unavoidable, don't be overly superstitious. You only have a mild concussion, your legs aren't broken, so it won't stop you from walking or eating. Soren stood up, hands in his pockets, looking at me as if to say, if you're not dead, get up and walk on your own. I pouted my lips. Soren was definitely a bad guy who couldn't stand seeing others idle. To be honest, I was starving. This morning, as soon as I received Bella's provocative message, I skipped breakfast and rushed off to stop Jason from going on his trip. I just couldn't understand, what did Jason even see in Bella? She was skinny and dark, with a flat figure, average looks, and even a bit buck-toothed, yet Jason treated her differently. Jason felt sorry for Bella and gave her the birthday gift meant for me. Worried that Bella would tire from walking to school, Jason let her ride shotgun in his car every day. Jason was afraid Bella might get bullied at school, so he told everyone that she was under his protection, making my classmates laugh at me. The beggars on the streets are even more pitiful, yet Jason never spared them a single cent. Stray dogs are everywhere, running around exhausted every day, yet Jason never built them a shelter. Plenty of girls get bullied at school, yet Jason never stood up for them. As for Bella, she's quite cunning. She successfully broke me and Jason up. I won't eat. I'll starve myself. I glared hard at Soren and pulled the blanket over my head. Soren may have a handsome face, but his mouth is foul and venomous. If you don't get up, I'll carry you out. Soren leaned down and whispered close to me, his voice still tinged with amusement. Under the blanket, I rolled my eyes. Soren might be tall, but he looks so scrawny, like a weakling. And he thinks he can carry me? I'd die of embarrassment if he ended up falling flat on his face. Vivian, my sweet, what's wrong with you? My mom's heart, which had been anxious, suddenly sank at the sight of the person tucked under the white hospital sheets. My dad's lips trembled, and he let out a wail before rushing forward. Vivian. How could you leave me and your mom behind like this? My mom also started crying on the phone, not explaining clearly how he could just be gone. Then my dad punched me in the stomach. It hurt so much I could barely breathe. My dad stared wide-eyed at the trembling blanket. Was it a resurrected corpse? Soren clenched his fists, his lips twitched before he finally spoke. Mr. Sinclair, Mrs. Sinclair, I'm Vivian's boyfriend. No, fiancé, Soren. Only then did my mom and dad notice Soren, a living, breathing person. They exchanged glances. What? Vivian was two-timing with a pair of uncle and nephew? I threw off the blanket and looked at my dad with a resentful expression. He was so strong, he nearly pounded me until I coughed up blood. Vivian, are you okay? Why did you play dead? My mom looked me up and down to make sure there was nothing wrong with me, then frowned disapprovingly before asking. I was bored, so I pretended to die for fun. What's wrong with that? I rolled my eyes. Even if I was under the blanket, I was still breathing, okay. My dad rubbed his nose and chuckled as he looked at his long-lost daughter. Vivian is such a mischievous one. How did you get hit by a car? Where's the driver who hit you? My father asked me sternly, clenching his fists tightly, his expression looking very unpleasant. I lost my memory. I don't remember how I got hit. Maybe you should ask my boyfriend what happened? I looked at Soren with a half-smile, waiting to see how he would try to wriggle out of this. My parents rushed over nervously. My mother checked my head and even lifted my eyelids, while my father grabbed my hand. Both of them were extremely tense. Vivian has selective amnesia. You can see she still remembers who you all are. Soren said with a faint smile, his hands tucked in his pockets. That's good, it changes on fixed model training requires language parents. Soren, could you come out with me for a moment? My dad, still worried, asked Soren out for a talk, while my mom examined the scratches on my arm, grimacing in distress. At the end of the hospital corridor, my father looked serious. Soren, what's going on between you and Vivian? Soren raised an eyebrow and looked at my father earnestly. Uncle, as I just said, I'm Vivian's fiancé. My father's eyelids twitched, his hands clasped behind his back as he began calculating in his mind. That Jason kid barely had any fuzz on his chin yet was already emulating others by finding a mistress. He had long wanted to advise Vivian to break up with him. But Vivian was too stubborn, too deeply infatuated with Jason, which was why he had kept silent so far. My father looked Soren up and down, growing more satisfied the more he looked. With top-tier looks, ruthless methods, no romantic entanglements, and not being a womanizer, he was an excellent candidate for a marriage alliance. The only thing is he's a bit old, 8 years older than Vivian. My father shook his head disapprovingly, better keep looking. His Vivian was beautiful and outstanding, plenty of men would adore her. Though Soren didn't know what my father was thinking, it was certainly nothing good. I genuinely love Vivian, and when we marry, I'll sign a prenuptial agreement stating that if I ever cheat, all my assets will go to her. My dad's eyes widened in surprise, then he smiled at Soren and nodded approvingly. Soren also laughed. He didn't know Vivian's father yet, someone who didn't care for beautiful women or power, only money. Soren, I'm on your side. But whether you're accepted or not still depends on Vivian's decision. My dad laughed and patted Soren on the shoulder, swaggering away. He had already forgotten to ask Soren about the car accident. It's already been accepted. Soren's fox-like eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a triumphant smile. My mother held my hand and kept bringing up Jason in roundabout ways, but I kept insisting I didn't know him. My mother finally breathed a sigh of relief, reassured. Her Vivian had finally stopped liking that playboy. Vivian, your mother and I still have things to attend to. You get along well with your boyfriend, and we'll come see you tonight. My dad hugged my unwilling to leave mom and forcibly dragged her confused face away. I pouted my lips. The two of them probably had some little clique activity planned and didn't want to include me. When they get old, I'll have my own little clique too, humph. Before I could even calm my anger, Soren returned. You must be hungry by now. Come on, let's eat. Just listen to the nonsense Soren is spouting. What kind of person gets hungry from talking? Absolutely brainless. My stomach betrayed me with a loud growl, and Soren squinted at me. I rolled my eyes at him, letting him figure it out himself. My phone buzzed, and I instinctively grabbed it immediately. That was the notification tone I specifically set for Jason, just force of habit. I'll delete him later. My hand involuntarily opened the message, Bella's pre-flight selfie. She also sent a message, you were really lucky today, not getting hit by a car. But some injuries aren't visible on the surface. Some people seem fine at first but end up dead the next day. Also, I know your memory loss is fake. Thanks for pushing Jason to go on this trip with me. Guess what? Do you think I'll succeed in sleeping with him this time? Just as I was about to save the message, she deleted it. As expected, Bella is determined to win Jason over. The day after tomorrow is our engagement party, and Bella is trying to stop it by going on this trip. Because they won't be back anytime soon, the engagement party will have to be postponed. Or cancelled. I was mentally calculating how to tell my parents to cancel the engagement party scheduled for the day after tomorrow when Soren's words completely stunned me. The day after tomorrow is our engagement party. Will your injuries have healed by then? I swallowed hard, thinking there was no need to act quite so convincingly. It definitely won't get any better. Postpone the engagement party. Wait, no, we've already broken up. The corner of my mouth twitched as I slowly walked forward. This time, I was truly blessed by my ancestors, I only suffered minor injuries. It seems even the heavens couldn't stand it anymore and sent this car accident to wake me up. No breakup. We'll go get our marriage certificate after dinner. Soren spoke while reaching for my hand, startling me so much that I jumped aside. What are you doing? Talk if you want to talk, why pull and tug like this? This is called holding hands, not pulling and tugging. I suspect you haven't lost your memory, your heart has changed. Soren stared at me as he said this, the glint in his eyes somewhat scalding. What, are you directly exposing me for faking memory loss? How embarrassing. Isn't this supposed to be an act? Fine, I'll play along. Ugh, I was almost scared to death today, can't I even joke with you? Ow, my legs hurt so much, I can't walk anymore. I deliberately walked with an unsteady gait, testing who was the better actor. Soren curled his lips slightly as his long legs strode toward me. Amid my startled exclamation, he lifted me into a princess carry. I had to admit, he held me quite steadily. A triumphant grin spread across my face. Just you wait, soon you'll tire and take a nosedive, face first into the dirt. Soren's chin hovered just within my line of sight, stubbled with faint traces of beard. Alas, even handsome men can't withstand close scrutiny. Soren drove me to a 5-star hotel. I was completely baffled. Just for lunch, did we really need to come all the way here? You like the mandarin fish here, don't you? Eating more fish is good for your brain. Holding my hand with a faint smile on his lips, Soren led me toward the lobby. I seriously suspected Soren was calling me brainless, but I had no proof. I really wanted to argue with him, but I was also really hungry. Fine, I'll eat the mandarin fish first and fight him later. There's another reason I pretended to lose my memory. I didn't know how to face the relatives and friends who had congratulated me and Jason for finally making it official. I ate heartily, while Soren ate slowly and sparingly. Humph, I'll make him carry me later, let's see if he can handle the exhaustion. Jason, what are you doing? The thought that suddenly popped into my mind startled me. Whatever, never mind him or her, just do whatever you want. Finished eating? Let's go get our marriage certificate. Soren wiped his mouth and looked at me with narrowed, fox-like eyes, smiling. I swallowed hard, feeling like I couldn't keep up the act much longer. I didn't bring my household registration booklet. You can still get married without it. Let's go. Soren grabbed my hand and pulled me up, heading toward the door. Just as I was about to tell Soren the truth, that I hadn't actually lost my memory, Bella sent another message. It's a photo of Bella being held in Jason's arms, both smiling happily. Ugh, what a mismatched pair. My heart burned with jealousy as I saved the photo. This won't do. Indecision brings its own disasters. It's time for me to take a step forward and blind everyone with my move. We can get our marriage certificate, but we must sign an agreement. Because I've lost my memory, to me you're a complete stranger. You can't touch me without my permission. Also, when I want a divorce, you must agree. I snarled these words at Soren. Although Soren is only 8 years older than Jason, he exudes an authoritative presence like an elder. Soren never cared to play with us since childhood, and we kept our distance from him too. Fine, whatever you say, as long as you agree to get the marriage certificate with me. The corners of Soren's lips curled slightly, she was finally about to fall into his arms. Then let's find a place, and I'll write down the terms of the agreement. No need for all that trouble, I'll call a lawyer. Soren's slender fingers tapped on his phone as he murmured something in a low voice. Taking a deep breath, I gazed at the distant scenery. People inevitably lose more as they grow older, learning to make choices and bravely embrace the new life ahead. 2 hours later, I glanced at the agreement drafted by the lawyer, nodded in satisfaction, and signed my name without hesitation. Lawyer, draft another agreement stating that if I commit adultery after marriage, all assets under my name will go to Vivian. Soren said as he signed, his expression natural without a hint of reluctance. I widened my eyes at Soren. Was he actually serious about this? Essentially, all the Davenport family assets were earned by Soren, meaning his wealth is substantial, no less than ours. This is good. I was somewhat satisfied, feeling an unexpected anticipation for the uncertain future. Don't overthink it, I don't want anything to happen between me and Soren. I just want Soren to cheat after marriage. I want to see the look on his face when he gets what's coming to him. On our way to get the marriage license with Soren, I received yet another photo from Bella. This time, Bella finally managed to plant her dark purple lips on Jason's cheek. In the photo, Jason looked surprised, with a hint of secret delight in his eyes. Ugh, what a pair of trashy lovebirds. Have your fun. I immediately blocked Jason and Bella. So damn annoying, like a pair of pesky stray dogs. Soren quickly glanced at my phone but didn't see anything. I promptly locked my phone screen and looked at him warily. Article 6 of the agreement, no prying into each other's privacy, including but not limited to peeking at phones, social media accounts, etc. Soren raised an eyebrow as we approached the marriage registration office. Today is a good day, whatever we wish for will come true. Holding the marriage certificate, I still felt a sense of unreality. Had I really gotten married? Am I a married woman now? Pfft, a married fairy goddess. Hi, my wife. Soren reached out to touch my hair, but I brushed his hand away with a flick of my wrist. Ugh, so gross. Unfazed, Soren took my hand and said softly, "Let me show you our home." My mouth formed an O. What home? What ours? Since when? Utterly confused, I was ushered by Soren into the passenger seat, and together we arrived at a hillside villa. Is Soren really this rich? I couldn't help but swallow hard, thinking that I'd tell my dad to scold Soren less in the future. With this kind of wealth, it's better not to offend him. Do you like it here? Soren glanced at the blooming white roses throughout the garden and asked me with a smile. Like it? Of course, I do. This is practically my dream home. It's all right, just average, I said, pressing down the corners of my lips that were about to curl up, trying to maintain a composed tone. You can take a look at your room if you like? Soren turned his head and gestured for me to enter the villa, his eyes filled with adoration. I forgot to add a clause to the agreement. I'll return to my own place on weekdays 1, 3, 5, and weekends. But where I stay is my freedom. Soren can't do anything about it. Fine, let's take a look. Just so you know, my standards are very high. If I'm not satisfied, I'm going back to my own place. I seized the moment to say, I'm such a clever little thing. You'll definitely love it, Soren said confidently, still holding my hand as he led me forward. I stared in amazement at the bedroom decor. Every detail matched my taste, making me fall in love with the place instantly. Happy? Soren raised an eyebrow and glanced at me, asking. I'm not happy because I'm too tired. I rolled my eyes, refusing to humor Soren. Then let's take a photo, and I'll send you back to the hospital. Take a photo? No way. I frowned in objection, not in the mood. Soren grabbed my hand, swiftly pulled out the marriage certificate, and quickly snapped a photo. My lips twitched. A 32-year-old man still posting about a fake marriage? Soren quickly edited the message and posted it without blocking anyone. Jason's mother, Giselle, was the adopted daughter of Soren's father. Back then, Giselle ran away from home and married Jason's dad. Later, after Jason was born, his father abandoned them and ran off to another country with a wealthy woman. Giselle brought Jason back home, where they've lived ever since. Giselle saw Soren's post the moment it went up. Soren got married? Wasn't he a staunch bachelor? What should she do now? Soren's assets would undoubtedly go to his own children, leaving Jason with nothing. That just wouldn't do. Giselle had long considered the Davenport family fortune to be Jason's rightful inheritance, and she wouldn't allow anyone to steal it. Dad, Soren has gone completely mad. He suddenly got married. Did you know about this? Soren's father, Richard, was listening to music when Giselle spoke. He immediately bolted upright from the sofa. Soren got married? Is that true? Look, he just posted the photo. It must be real. That's great. As long as he's willing to get married, I thought he'd end up alone. Ha ha ha. Richard was laughing happily, while Giselle looked displeased and lowered her head to hide the resentment on her face. Dad, aren't you concerned about what kind of woman Soren is with? What if she's a gold digger who only married him for our family's money? As long as it's a woman, nothing else matters. Soren is such a shrewd and cunning person, who could possibly fool him? Richard didn't care at all, nor was he curious about his daughter-in-law's identity or who she was. Then we should at least meet her and see who she is. Giselle's expression darkened. Once she found out who that woman was, she had plenty of ways to drive her away. That's right, I'll call Soren right now and have him bring my daughter-in-law over for dinner. Richard couldn't wipe the smile off his face. Today was a good day, and even the sun rose from the west. Looking at Vivian lying there, unwilling to pay him any attention, Soren couldn't help but laugh. Just then, his father's call came through, and he hurried out of the hospital room. Soren, when are you going to bring my daughter-in-law home to meet me? No rush, she's not feeling well. We'll see you at the engagement party the day after tomorrow. Soren listened to his father's hearty laughter and couldn't help but smile too. Great, great. See you then. When Giselle heard the day after tomorrow, she felt a wave of irritation. The engagement party was for Jason and Vivian. What business did Soren have showing up? Speaking of which, where was Jason? Had he taken Bella out to play again? Vivian really can't even manage to keep her own boyfriend in check. If it weren't for Vivian also being from a wealthy family, she wouldn't have wanted Jason to marry a spoiled rich girl like Vivian, with such a terrible temper. Dad, Jason's engagement party is the day after tomorrow. It wouldn't be appropriate for Soren to bring that woman home then. What do you mean appropriate or not? This is Soren's home. He can come back whenever he wants. Richard's smile faded slightly. He understood exactly what Giselle was thinking. He just didn't want to embarrass her. At the engagement party the day after tomorrow, with so many guests coming, Giselle will definitely hint to everyone that Jason is the heir. If Soren brings his wife along, of course everyone will know that the heir of the Davenport family couldn't possibly be Jason. Then Jason's plans to chase fame and profit by flaunting the heir's title would be in trouble. Giselle left in a huff after making a fool of herself. As she walked away, she called Jason. His phone was turned off. That kid only knows how to make trouble, Giselle frowned and called Vivian instead. Fortunately, Vivian's family is quite wealthy, so she and Jason wouldn't have to endure hardship. Both Vivian's family assets and Soren's assets belong to her son. Hey, Vivian, where is Jason? I frowned. Why had I forgotten to block Giselle? And accidentally answered the call, too. No idea what you're talking about. Bye. I hung up directly and blocked her. Humph, Giselle is so mean, always mocking and sarcastic towards me, and even secretly encouraging Jason not to treat me too well, trying to set rules for me. Come on, what era is this? She still wants to push that feudalistic etiquette nonsense. Let Bella enjoy it instead. Giselle was completely stunned. Did Vivian just hang up on her? Has Vivian grown some nerve? Just wait till she gets Jason to discipline Vivian. Giselle tried calling again but couldn't get through. So, she's been blocked by Vivian? She knew it, this spoiled rich girl's temper is just too much. Giselle had no choice but to keep calling Jason, but his phone remained off the entire time. The next day, Giselle was as frantic as an ant near a fire, rushing in a panic to Vivian's family villa. Where's Vivian? Why isn't she answering my calls? I'm her future mother-in-law, after all. Catherine, no offense, but you've raised Vivian with terrible manners. The moment Giselle saw my mother, she started blabbering away, completely disregarding how unpleasant my mother looked. Because Giselle felt she had nothing to fear, after all, who made me so infatuated with her son? Unable to reach Jason, Giselle was anxious and frightened, so she came to take out her anger on Vivian's family. You call yourself well-mannered? Is it well-mannered to come to my house shouting and yelling? Is it well-mannered to raise a fickle and promiscuous troublemaker like Jason? My mom didn't give Giselle any face this time and directly confronted her. Giselle was momentarily stunned, swallowing hard as she stared at my mom. This wasn't going how she expected. Shouldn't my mom have apologized to her first, promised to scold me properly, and maybe even tossed her a piece of jewelry as a consolation? That's how it always went before. Dare you insult my son? Does Vivian still want to marry into the Davenport family? Oh? Is your son a Davenport? My Vivian is marrying into the Davenport family, but not your son. My mother raised her eyebrows triumphantly. I had already told her about getting the marriage certificate with Soren last night. Her expression at the time had been strange, a mix of shock, worry, and a hint of secret delight. What do you mean? Giselle frowned. If Vivian isn't marrying her son, then who is she marrying? Vivian still wants to marry Soren? No way. Vivian likes Jason so much, she could never marry someone else. Fine, you said it, Vivian won't marry my son. I'll cancel the engagement banquet right now. If Vivian ever wants to step into my Davenport family again, she'll have to crawl in on her knees. Giselle huffed, rolling her eyes as she finished speaking, then twisted her plump body around to leave. She was waiting for my mom to call her back and apologize. But by the time she reached the door, my mom still hadn't said a word. TCH, how dare they? Just a foster daughter living with her son at her parents' house, and she really thinks it's her own home. Just wait until my Vivian clears Richard's hurdle, we'll see you three get kicked out. My mom spat at Giselle's retreating figure. She had already mentally placed Bella under Jason's household registration. Giselle grew angrier the more she thought about it after returning home. She immediately called the hotel to cancel tomorrow's engagement banquet. I'm sorry, ma'am, Mr. Soren Davenport has already arranged all the procedures. We are following his instructions. What did Soren make you do? I'm sorry, but I cannot disclose that information. The hotel manager replied politely yet distantly before immediately hanging up. What a despicable person riding on someone else's power. The day will come when you beg me. Giselle collapsed onto the sofa in anger, panting heavily. Today really was not a good day. At 6:30 a.m. on the morning of the engagement party, Giselle finally managed to get through to Jason's phone. Jason, where have you been? What's wrong with Vivian? She blocked me. Let me tell you, this time you have to teach her a good lesson, otherwise I won't agree to her marrying into our family. Mom, I'm traveling on the grasslands right now. Vivian had a car accident and lost her memory. We'll talk about it when I get back. Jason's voice sounded hoarse and exhausted. Why did you go traveling? Listen, your uncle got married, he registered with someone. Come back quickly, I need to discuss something with you. Uncle got married? To whom? Jason asked with a grin, his mind now completely clear. I don't know. He's bringing that woman today. I said we should cancel today's engagement party, but your uncle refused, who knows what he's up to. Uncle always has his reasons for doing things. Don't worry about it, Mom. Hurry back. Mom's worried about your safety. Got it, I'll be back in a couple of days. Jason replied dismissively before hanging up. Bella was already awake and snuggled closer to Jason. Your uncle got married? Yeah, wonder who my new aunt is? Let's head back in a couple of days. Jason hugged the naked Bella, ready for another round. Bella's face darkened, she had thought Soren was prepared to stay single for life. So why had Soren ignored her when she tried to seduce him? Exactly because she couldn't seduce Soren that Bella switched her target to Jason. After all, she couldn't possibly go after Richard, could she? Who wouldn't prefer a young, strong, and wealthy hunk? An old man was always the last resort. You decide. Once we go back, you'll be engaged to Vivian. What about me? Bella stared sadly at Jason's face, but in her heart, she was thinking of Soren, the man she truly loved. Getting engaged to Vivian won't affect our relationship. After we go back, I'll buy you a house and visit you whenever I have time. Jason said casually, as if there was nothing wrong with it. Bella rolled her eyes in his arms, she had no intention of being a hidden mistress. She hoped this trip would make her pregnant, so she could marry Jason by virtue of the child. So what was she waiting for? She had to work hard. At 10:30 in the morning, when Giselle saw Soren leading Vivian, dressed in a white gown, into the hall, she nearly fainted. So, the woman Soren married was Vivian? No, you can't get married. Vivian is in love with my son. Giselle howled, rushing straight over to pull Vivian away. Soren's gaze turned icy as he flicked his fingers, immediately summoning two burly men who covered Giselle's mouth and dragged her away. I pursed my lips. Sure enough, Soren played dirty, just like his character setting. As I zoned out from boredom, Soren slipped the diamond ring onto my finger. It fit surprisingly well. Oh, by the way, today wasn't some engagement party, it was the actual wedding. I only found out when I arrived. The photoshopped wedding pics were pretty good, whoever edited them deserves a chicken drumstick. Finally, the wedding was over. My parents and Soren's father were congratulating each other, looking happier than ever. What's there to be happy about? They won't be so cheerful when the divorce happens. I changed into my toasting dress, ready to accompany Soren in toasting the guests. Jason's best friend, Ryan, stopped me. Didn't you like Jason? Why marry his uncle? Who is Jason? Never heard of him. I pursed my lips, pushed Ryan aside, and played my role as the perfect bride. Ryan stared at Vivian's retreating figure in shock. Had something happened that he didn't know about? Ryan took a photo of the wedding dress shoot and sent it to Jason. Jason was fast asleep, but Bella, unable to sleep due to her bad mood, happened to see the wedding photo. Vivian married Soren? How could Vivian marry Soren? Bella glared viciously at the wedding photo, grinding her teeth in anger. She quickly deleted the photo, her mind racing with plans for what to do next. Jason was feeling a bit frustrated, he had lost his phone. Bella suggested they could just use her phone for now and get a new SIM card and phone once they got back. Jason agreed, thinking Bella was right, and he didn't want anyone disturbing him either. I gave my parents a resentful look as they cheerfully left the villa. How could they be so relaxed about this? My dear wife, it's been a long day. Let's head back to the room and rest, Soren said with a smile, his big hand holding mine. We'll sleep separately. I'm going back to my room first. There are several of my dad's spies among the servants here. If you want him to come talk to you tomorrow, go ahead and leave me to sleep alone. Soren raised an eyebrow and gave me a pitiful look. I bit my lip. Richard, my father-in-law, is quite the chatterbox. Every time he lectures me, I get a headache. Fine then. But you can't take advantage of me. I promise I won't take advantage of you. Soren grinned like a fox who'd gotten his way and moved even closer. I don't know how it happened, but over the past 2 weeks, my relationship with Soren has grown increasingly intimate. Giselle has disappeared, I haven't seen her once since the wedding banquet. Living like this isn't bad at all. That old man Soren is very obedient and is becoming more and more likable. Jason stepped out of the taxi with a contented expression, stretching lazily. He was finally back. This trip had been incredibly enjoyable and carefree, and fortunately, no one had disturbed him. Bella, you go back first. I'll come find you tonight. Jason said playfully to Bella as she got out of the car, not wanting everyone to know about their relationship yet. I bought a gift for Grandpa. I'll leave right after giving it to him. Bella smiled with gentle innocence, but she wasn't about to listen to Jason's suggestion. All right then. Remember, don't say anything out of line. Jason raised his eyebrows and strode forward. I looked at the shrimp Soren had placed in my bowl, feeling a bit reluctant to eat. Father-in-law chuckled merrily as he also served me dishes. This was our first meal back at Soren's family home after the wedding banquet. Vivian? What are you doing here? Jason exclaimed with delight upon seeing me, quickly rushing to my side. Let me tell you, the grasslands are incredibly fun. Who are you? Stay away from me. I wrinkled my nose in distaste, repelled by the smell emanating from him. This is our nephew, Jason. Jason, this is your aunt, Vivian. Soren put down his chopsticks and announced calmly without changing his expression. Jason seemed confused, staring at me blankly. Hello, I'm your Aunt Vivian, I forced a smile while still rolling my eyes. Bella also walked in at this moment. She swallowed hard and looked at Soren. Soren, I prepared a gift for you. No need, Soren said coldly without even looking up. Vivian, have you really lost your memory? I'm Jason, your beloved Jason. How could you marry my uncle? Didn't you hate him the most? Jason grabbed my arm and started howling. I shoved him away, glancing somewhat awkwardly at Soren. Don't bring up old grudges, I muttered. That was all in the past. As for now, I don't dislike Soren. Jason, don't shout at your aunt like that. Your mother has gone abroad for vacation, do you want to go with her? Of course you do. You love traveling the most. Soren narrowed his fox-like eyes as he spoke and waved his hand dismissively. Two burly men barged in and grabbed Jason, dragging him out. Jason, weak and helpless, struggled uselessly against them and was powerless to resist. Grandpa, Vivian is my girlfriend. Aren't you going to do anything about Uncle? My father-in-law stroked his beard, sighed, and shook his head. Sort out your own affairs. Don't expect this old man to intervene. Soren glanced at his father with a smile, quite satisfied with his dad's reaction. Bella swallowed hard. What should she do? It seemed she had clung to the wrong thigh. Soren, I'm pregnant with Jason's child. Just give me 10 million, and I'll get rid of the baby. I'll never bother you again. Soren detected the underlying meaning in Bella's words. If he didn't give Bella 10 million, she would make a scene, which would be detrimental to the Davenport group. Take her along as well. Soren waved his hand, and immediately two burly men rushed over, dragging Bella away like a chick. Bella didn't even have time to scream before her mouth was stuffed with a rag. Whoever dares to threaten Soren hasn't been born yet. Not even lifting an eyelid, my father-in-law continued eating. My eyelid twitched, I felt like I was sharing a room with wolves. Will I also be sent to some godforsaken place abroad by Soren if I want a divorce in the future? Epilogue. Life went on at its own steady pace until one day when I got drunk and ended up in an intimate relationship with Soren. Divorce, I must get a divorce. My parents urged me to calm down and wait, but for what? I had no idea. Then, a little over a month later, it happened, I was pregnant. Everyone in both families was overjoyed, except for me. Someone else was unhappy, Giselle and her family of 3, who had just returned from some obscure corner abroad. Bella wasn't actually pregnant. With that frail little body of hers, getting pregnant must be tough. Jason stopped howling at me and just stayed silent. Soren found them annoying and sent them back to Giselle's hometown. That place is a barren wasteland, perfect for their little family of 3. Every day, I eat, drink, and never forget to exercise, looking forward to the birth of the baby in my belly.